Well, today is Friday. In the words of the movie from Smokey, from what he said, today is Friday. You ain't got no job. You ain't got no shit to do. Well, I do got shit to do, which is, of course, giving you guys some awesome reviews. Now, as you all know, I'm behind on the Yoshi wrestling scene because I know many of you, my subscribers, are big fans of the Yoshi scene. So today, it's all about Sendai Girls. Now, we're going to be reviewing the much recent events of this month. The first one was back on the 7th of June in Osaka. And then, of course, we move on to June 8th, which took place in Shinkiba. And then finally at the Sendai PIT, which is going to be very interesting. It does features, of course, the first time ever Aya Sakura defends the Sendai Girls Junior Championship against Yuna. And of course, the main event for that one, well, that's a little different. It's, of course, Team 200 kilograms taking on the ladies from Marvelous. But we'll get through all of it from A to Z. And of course, we have a very short news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the jibber jabbers. I believe it's time to put up and shut up. So, let's begin. Of course, as I mentioned, this is all about the Sendai Girls. Let's do the first review that took place back on June 7th. Okay, Sendai Girls. This took place earlier this month on June 7th in Osaka at the Azalea Taishi Hall, which is, of course, in Osaka. Nothing too special whatsoever, but let's get started. But it opened up, of course, with the final boss, now retired, doing her usual promo, Meiko Satomura. Now, I don't know what exactly she said, but of course she's there to greet the fans and give them, of course, the update that they're going to have a good time. So, let's get started with that. Our first match, we have Zones versus Yuna. Now, of course, many of you would know Yuna is a homegrown girl from Sendai Girls. She is, of course, a junior in the entire promotion. However, she's facing against someone who's strong, who has learned from very strong competitors. Zone was able to pick up the win when she applied a submission, and just like that, Yuna had no choice but to tap out. Our next match, we have, of course, Chi-Chi taking on Lady Destroyer Hiroyo Matsumoto. Now, of course, Chi-Chi, we know she's strong. We know she is capable of, doing amazing things, despite the fact that she loves Barbies and she's very cute. But the real question is, can she withstand a powerhouse like Hiroyo Matsumoto? I would say she could, but unfortunately, that wasn't the case for her because I couldn't tell exactly due to the angle of how the position was. It looked more like Matsumoto wasn't planning to do of course, a chokehold on her, and just like that, I did see Chi Chi actually tapped out, and it was over just like that, which is interesting because of course her fellow Evolution mate Zone's won her match. She just lost this one, but ironically, this is Zone's tag team partner. She teamed up on various times when she's in Sendai Girls, but totally unrelated. But you got my drift from there. Next up, we have Yuta Suzuki versus Yurika Oka. Nothing too special on this one, but of course, Oka, as you know, she is a strong competitor, not to mention another homegrown girl who was part of the Sendai Girls dojo. Learned a lot. However, she picked up the win when she applied. I couldn't tell what it was, but it looked more like a modified version of the Mahestral, which is a move that's been done by various people, such as, of course, Azuki, who else? Emi Sakura, and various other people. But it was effective, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And then, of course, there was a bit of a promo that Yurika Oka actually put out. I don't know what she said, but hope it was all exciting for the people who were there. Next up, we have Manami teaming up with Sadie Gibbs to take on Team 200 kilograms, consistent of Yu and Chihiro Hashimoto. Now, it's no secret when it comes to Team 200 kilograms, they are a powerhouse dynamic duo. They are the people that are not easily to put down unless you have matched up their exact powerhouse, if you could. I mean, Manami, I know she is very energetic. She is very person who throws in a good energy. Sadie Gibbs, well, we know her background when she does that corkscrew or backflip outside the ring, but none of that was manageable because in fact it was Hashimoto who picked up the win when she applied lariat on Manami, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Team 200 kilograms picked up the victory. Now our main event, we have Ryu Mitsunami teaming up with Dash Shizako, taking on, of course, what's her name? Their name, Red Energy, our current Sendai Girls tag team champions. However, this was a non-title match, but of course, if Mizunami and Dash picked up the victory, they most likely would have had an opportunity for the tag belts. But they had to go face this team, Red Energy, Miyuki Takase and Mika Iwata. But nothing too special about it. But however, we know Mika Iwata is a fantastic striker. She doesn't back down from any fight. But it was, of course, her with a surprising victory roll onto Mizunami, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she picked up the victory, and it was over. And of course, we did see a post-match promo by Red Energy. I don't know what they said, but I'm sure that they're very happy that they defeated Mizunami, who is a strong competitor. But we'll see what happens. Now, we do know that they will defend their tag belts against Unagi and Yurika Oka, and I think that's going to be our next, of course, review. So let's get moving from that. Okay, we continue with more with Sendai Girls. This is another event that took place on June 8th in Shinkiba First Ring, which is in Tokyo, in case anybody asks. Now, as always, we did see the founder, the former final boss herself, Meiko Satomura, making her presence known, greeting the fans, and giving the lowdown how the event's going to be for them. Of course, I don't know what they're saying, but you catch my grift. Now, our first match, we have tag team action. We have Yuna teaming up with Yuta Suzuki. They take on, of course, former Sendai Girls tag champions Manami and Ryu Mizunami. Now, factors of this match for those who may know. When I mentioned former tag champions, yes, Manami and Ryu Mizunami were former tag champions. They have like their own distinctive personalities if you ever noticed. And that played out pretty well. Not to mention, they are a true cohesion team, unlike Yuna and Yuta Suzuki. I don't know how long those two have teamed up, but it played out pretty well. But in the end, it was, of course, a jumping knee by Manami onto Yuna, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was completely over. Next up, we have a three-way match. Shin Sakura Iroda versus Zones versus Hiroyu Matsumoto. Now, the one thing both Zones and Matsumoto need to do is steer clear from Iroda, because A, you don't know what she's going to do. You don't know what type of tricks she'll play out, not to mention if she's going to do this up the butthole, which is the last thing they need. She is a very clever individual, but unfortunately, well, I don't know what happened. There was a moment, of course, when Zones and that were in fact kind of like disorient, and then Matsumoto just pushed um Zones into Iroda, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And Zones like, did I just won? So basically, yeah, she won the match, and of course, Iroda probably thinking, what the hell just happened? So things did not go according to plan for her, but yeah. Our next match, we have Chi-Chi versus Dash Shizako. Now, of course, Dash, no secret about her due to the fact that she is dubbed as the Hardcore Queen. Those who've seen her, she doesn't back down from her fight, and she backs up her, her title as the Hardcore Queen. But this time it wasn't that. Chi-Chi's facing a much aggressive competitor who doesn't hold back one way or another, and that plays out too. But in the end, of course, it was Dash who walked away with the win when she applied a frog splash. However, now I did mention this before on a previous new updates, like maybe a week or two ago, around after this timing, I think. Azuki from Stardom made an appearance there to confront Dash, and the reason is this: she wants to have a match against her at the next Korakuen Hall show that Sendai Girls will be hosting. So that is going to be a pleasant banger match. Azuki, tough competitor. Dash, also tough. But the real question we ask ourselves, who will walk out with the victory? We just got to wait and see until that day happens. Now, our next match, we have Debbie Cattell teaming up with Sadie Gibbs to take on Team 200 Kilograms, Yu and Chihiro Hashimoto. Now, of course, when it comes to Team 200 Kilograms, as I mentioned time and time again, they are a powerhouse dynamic duo, because these ladies, it's very hard to put down on the ground. You can try to put a German suplex on Hashimoto and Yu, but it's going to take a lot stronger than that to put both of them down. But in the end, of course, it was Yu with the last ride on Debbie Cattell, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, however, I also made a very interesting a news update regarding Yu. This was the particular day where Yu announced her retirement, and it was very emotional. It's very difficult, because I'm sure this is the one thing your fans would never expect. If it was me, I know this was a choice that I had to make, but the truth is, how would the fans react? Well, I'm sure fans are going to determine to try to be there for whatever remaining shows that she's able to do, but we'll see what happens down the way. Our next match was the main event. We have the Sendai Girls tag team titles. Unagi Sayaka teams up with Yuriko Oka to take on Red Energy, Miyuki Takase and Mika Iwata. Now, for some of you may question, why did Unagi team up with Yuriko Oka? For those who don't know, when Unagi first broke into going freelancing a couple years ago, Sendai Girls was amongst the stops she made, and Yuriko Oka decided she wanted to team up with her and face her at the same time, and now it seems she'll be teaming up with her. But the real question is, can they pull it off? Factors of this: we know that Yurika Oka and Unagi can become a good cohesion team, but they don't have the necessary experience as a team together. Of course, we had Red Energy, who we all can say inconsistency that they do have a good cohesion team, and that's exactly what they played out. Unfortunately, it was, of course, what's her name? Uh, Iwata, who able to pick up the win when she applied a driver onto Oka, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But of course, we would have expected for the next challengers, but it did not happen. So we'll see what happens the next time. But as of right now, let's move on to our last and final review, continuing with more with Sendai Girls. Okay, final review as we continue with Sendai Girls. This is their much recent event back on June 20th at the Sendai PIT. Now, as always, we have Meiko Satomura making her promo, greeting the fans, giving the lowdown of the event, and all this and that. Now, let's jump into the first match. Our first match, we have, of course, Miku Kane, who many of you may know her from, of course, T Hearts making her appearance, and she takes on Yurika Oka, which of course was a pretty good match, not gonna lie, good opener. But in the end, it was of course Yurika Oka with a, I'm not sure if it was a Mahistral, which it looked like a Mahistral, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next up, we have a trios match. We have Zones, Nanami, and Ryo Mizunami. They take on Yuta Suzuki, Dashizako, and Hiroyu Matsumoto. Of course, many of you know that Manami and Ryo Mizunami are a good cohesion team. They've often teamed up a lot, but they're, of course, we know that Zone's actual partner she teams up in Sendai is opposite of her, teaming up with her tag partner from Riara Ultima Powers, and just like that. But the factor how this was going to go, I'm not sure exactly where it was going to be. But in the end, it was, of course, Manami that picked up the win with a diving body press onto, of course, onto Suzuki, and like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Now, our next match, we have a bit of a championship match. It's the Sendai Girls Junior Championship. This is the first time Aya Sakura, who, as you all know, defeated Chi-Chi not too long ago for this belt. And this resulted, of course, Yuna to be the first competitor. So this is the first time Aya Sakura defends it. And of course, Yuna has been looking forward to get this belt back into Sendai Girls promotion, which of course is the one thing you don't want. You don't want this belt in any other promotion other than the one you're in at this moment. But Aya Sakura, as you know, she is a very strong, capable wrestler. Not to mention, she worked very hard to get where she wanted. But in the end, it was a roundhouse kick onto, of course, onto Yuna that allowed her to pick up the win. 1, 2, 3, she retained the belt. And of course, she put out a post-match promo. Don't know what she said, but I'm sure she's looking forward to defend the championship again for whoever will step up. I'm not sure if it's going to be another person from Sendai Girls, or it's the junior heavyweight, or people outside of the promotion. That is a good question. But they do have permission to defend the belt anywhere outside of Sendai Girls, with permission from Sendai Girls themselves. Our next match, we have Unagi Sayaka versus Mika Iwata. Now, this was a match that later was put upon the day before by Unagi after losing to, of course, to Red Energy. But man, Unagi put up a hell of a fight. Now, Mika Iwata, she is no joke. She doesn't BS anybody. You would think that she would have the upper hand, but somehow, someway, Unagi survived it after 15 minutes of time limit draw, and just like that, it was completely over. Now, our main event, we have the ladies from Marvelous. We have the rookie Senka Akatsuki teaming up with Takumi Iroha, taking on Team 200 kilograms, Yu and Shihiro Hashimoto. So many of you would think how this is going to go. We know that, as I mentioned time and time again, that Team 200 kilograms do have what it takes to pick up the win because they are a powerhouse. But in the end, it was Hashimoto who walked away with the win when she applied a lariat onto Kazuki, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, 1 up for, of course, Sendai Girls. So that's pretty much what took place. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for our reviews. Let's move on to our last and final thing, which is of course is news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with upcoming events. We only have one update on that category. The only one, as you know, we have AAA with their upcoming event known as Verano de Escándalo, which translates to Summer of Scandal. And this one will take place on July 11th. But what they announced is that the AAA tag team titles will be defended. As you probably know already, WWE superstars Angel Garza and his cousin Berto are the current champions that defeated whoever was the previous. And now the challengers are none other than Laredo Kid and Octagon Jr. So that's going to be a very interesting match. So that's pretty much what we have for our upcoming events. Now let's talk about some certain developments. Some of you may question, where is Chris Jericho, where he's been? Well, it turns out the Wrestling Observer has reported where Jericho's been. He was recently touring with his band Fozzy, but from what they can tell, the tour is officially over. Right now, he is waiting for Tony Khan to put him back on some TV screen time. So it's still unclear when will that happen, but it could happen maybe soon, maybe before or after All In, which I would speculate. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, someone in the wrestling world just revealed that Blake Monroe, as you all know, she made her official debut in NXT not too long ago. However, we are questioning when she'll take her in-ring debut. However, that's the part where it was revealed that she made her in-ring debut during a live show, not a house show, not an actual televised show like in NXT. It happened in an NXT live show in Fort Pierce, Florida, again, and she was facing against Laney Reed. So basically, we will wait until she makes her official debut in NXT on a TV scale. So we'll see what happens. So I'll stay close to this once we hear more. But as of right now, let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. As I mentioned before, I'm trying to catch up with all the Yoshi Wrestling events. I'm way behind on Tokyo Show Pro Wrestling, dating back all the way till the end of April, so I'm going to have to catch up with those as much as possible. So I may have to do that. There's some events I'm considering doing it, like New Japan, All Japan, Noah, and all that. So there's a lot I have to review, but we'll see what happens. But as of right now, I'll keep you guys surprised what I'll do on the next episode. But as of right now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day.